Welcome to RVing in New England, the nation's only forum that puts you on stage with some of the biggest names in the RV industry. And now your hosts, John DePietro and Bob Zagami.
I was hiding you behind the logo.
Well, I've been thrown out of better places than this.
We've got a great show for you tonight. I think you're going to drive the whole show, John. You got a lot of input. What?
You didn't say, hello, everybody, and welcome once again to RVing in New England. My name is John DePietro, and there's Bob Zagami, and we want to thank you for spending your Wednesday night with us. So you were supposed to say something like that, but you didn't.
I did that on purpose because I wanted to see how long it was going to take you to stop me and then do it the right way.
Okay. But the other thing I have to stop you on is that this show would not be possible with our great sponsor. And our great sponsor is, that's the cue for Zagami to hit the button with the stuff about Seacoast RV.
Well, I wanted to have a different button.
Yeah. So anyway, because I'll give you
the original RV. While I find the other one. You do that.
Seacoast RV is on Route 1 in Saco, Maine. They feature crop models, they feature elevation park models, and they feature Winnebago motorized as well as towables. They have a great store. They have 4 or 5 dogs when you go in there, and they have propane, and they're the nicest people. Kenny and Amanda are cool, and we're going to talk about some other things that they're going to be doing. Go ahead, Bob.
Wait a minute. We have late breaking news.
Late breaking news. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about.
Oh, then go ahead and say that too then.
So the deal is this. Through the efforts of Seacoast RV in partnership with Winnebago, they are going to give away a brand new. Now, this is not, there's some shows that give away used RVs. We don't give away anything used. This is a brand new Winnebago. Is it a hike, Bob?
Hike 100.
Hike. Okay. And all you got to do is enter. And you don't pay anything. I mean, you pay to go into the show, obviously, but entry into the drawing is free. And if you are a relative or friend of ours, your chances of winning are much greater. But we say, what the heck? You might as well sign up anyway.
Well, we want to thank Kenny and Amanda for their graciousness there. And, we wanted to do this for a number of years, and we put out a bulletin to everybody. And Kenny stepped up to the plate as he does with the sponsorship. So make sure you stop by and visit Seacoast when you come to the show. And I think right across the aisle, I'm pretty sure they're going to set the hike up in a separate little display across the aisle. So what else we have on tap tonight, Mr. Petro?
We have a jam-packed show. We're going to fit an hour and a half worth of content into our weekly hourly show. And it will include an update on the Boston show that Mr. Zagami will give us, because there's so many new things going on. We've got new dates. We've got new considerations, because there's going to be another major convention going on in the building at the same time. So we want you to get there early and enjoy the show without having any parking hassles, and also to know more about the Quartzite Crawl, which we've got some videos of our sponsors tonight. But most importantly, our friend and longtime viewer and weekly contributor, Walter Swenson is going to give us a tutorial on how to use the RV Life Trip Wizard. But wait, Bob, do you have the drum roll sound effect lined up there?
I don't.
You don't? Okay. Well, just, ladies and gentlemen, imagine a drum roll. For anyone who purchases the RV Life Trip
drum
Wizard
roll
tonight, you will get 25% off. 25% off. Just type in RV Show 25. Walter is not affiliated with RV Life. He has no financial gain for this. He is one of the most sharing and caring people that you'll meet, as well as so many of the other viewers that watch our show. So with that being said, Bob, let's talk a little bit about, let's give our audience the dates of that show, because they're a little bit different and not everybody gets to view us every week. So give us the dates of this show. The days of the week are even different.
Let's see. I don't see it here. Oh, there it is. There it is. Got so many things to put up here tonight. January 25th to 28th at the Boston Convention and Exhibition Center. We'll be opening up Thursday night at 4 o'clock, 4 to 8 on Thursday, noon to 8 on Friday, 10 to 8 on Saturday, and 10 to 4 on Sunday. So you got plenty of time to see the new RVs. And, if you come in Thursday night and have a nightcap and then want to come back on Friday or Saturday, let us know on your way out. We'll give you a comp ticket to come back in. We want you to spend as much time as you want to at the show, visiting as many dealers as you can, attending some of the seminars. So,
okay. And you know what, Bob? I've said it all along, and I know you agree, that one of the things that makes this particular show special, and we've been able to be on the air for 8 years, which is really, it's unheard of in the RV industry to have a show running for 8 years consecutively every week. But one of the things that makes it special is our audience. And one of our audience members just pointed out, Tim from Tim's RV, that Premium Tim's RV, Oliver Travel Trailers debut. Okay, Intech RV and Oliver Travel Trailers make their debut in New England at the Boston RV show. So you want to get over to Tim's.
And this will be Tim's first time in the Boston show. So I want every person in the show to go by Tim's and thank Tim for being there. He's got other choices that he can go to in New England, but with the addition of Oliver and the Intech product lines, he was kind enough to sign up for our show this year. So make sure he feels welcome and loved, because he's got 2 great trailer lines there. And thanks for coming in. I forgot all about our friends up here. Dante made it first.
Dante was here. Dante was here before you even put the promo on.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's do that.
Merry Christmas, but you're losing space to Dante every week now. Didn't I just see Bill Sell? Merry Christmas, everyone. Charlie Butler's here. Boom, boom. Dante, of course, Merry Christmas. Steve Hogan. Hello, Steve. Hey, Steve, you got to get out there. Make sure you share the drawing information. I think most of the ex-Good Sam chapters are doing that. I saw that the Caboses shared it earlier today. Audrey Foley Egan. Hey, guys, looking forward to learning some trip planning stuff this show. Absolutely. Take a little workload off you. Make some of that stuff automated. And Gail, thank you very much.
Now, are Gail and Steve in the same house tonight? Are they in the same room? Are they on different computers, obviously?
Supposed to be. They do live together. They're in different rooms.
Okay.
Yay, Walter. Oh, Walter's got his cheering section here. Sorry we're late. Just got power back. Yeah, it sounds like you got hit pretty hard down there in southeastern Mass, and Maine got, I guess, I saw a national news report today that said Maine had the worst damage of all in New England. And Jim Roy, our good friend in Monmouth, I don't think he's going to be on tonight because I don't think he's got internet. He doesn't have power. He got flooded in the basement. The shop was okay. The Airstreams in the yard were okay, but he had a lot of damage up there.
Okay, this is a special now too. The live show, Saturday. Uh-oh. So we can't go out late Friday night, Bob. We can't go out Friday night until the bars close in Boston and then drag back to the hotel and then get back to the
That's true.
building on time. Okay. Not for a mile. So Bill that day, join us in the studio audience.
Join us in the studio audience. And if you're going into the show, come in early between 8 and 10. John and I will be signing autographs at the table. And you can get on, we'll put you on TV and let everybody know that you're at the Boston show. Yeah. And Steve says yes, assuming they are both in
the same house.
Place.
Same house. So,
so what do you want to start with, DeVito?
So let's do this. Let's talk about that Quartzite crawl, because it's one of the reasons that we have the RV Trip Wizard that we're going to talk about. But we have an event that's taking place from January 3rd through January 20th. So we're taking like 2 weeks to go. No, actually, from the 3rd to the 14th, we're on the road going across the United States. And this is something that I'm not running. I'm one of the Indians. I'm not one of the chiefs. And our chief is the gentleman.
This is just John and Mary Beth's vacation.
Yep. Well, it started out, it was going to be a vacation. It's now a working vacation because we've got so many sponsors involved. If you go back to that list again there's so many great companies that are part of this. And tonight we're going to hear from Spacious Skies, and we're going to hear from Spot tonight. And more importantly, just as importantly, not more importantly, we are going to hear from Mr. Bob Kelley, who is a retired police chief from New Jersey, who is the wagon master for this event. That is a phrase that I stole from the Good Sam people. And
you want to start with him?
Yep. We've got a little conversation with Bob. Why don't you roll that tape?
Happy to do it, John.
Hey, thanks, Bob. One of the key elements to this big trip to Quartzite is the fact that I don't have to use my brain. You might say, what brain do you have to begin with? But one of the people that is going to be doing all of the directing and producing and everything else involved with it is my good friend, Bob Kelley. And Bob, welcome. And tell us quickly,
Thank you very much.
You're a retired law enforcement officer. You live in the foreign country of New Jersey, so it's an international trip.
Right.
And tell us about... you've been to Quartzite before. This is not your first rodeo.
No, this is it's pretty unusual because I've only been there 4 times, and this will be the 4th time, and I've been rally master there twice. So I showed up once under COVID. I had to miss once because of family stuff, and somehow I wound up with everybody looking at me going, "What's next, Bob?" So
what's next, Bob?
Life is strange sometimes.
Okay, you weren't wearing your badge or anything. You didn't.
No. I gave that up a long time ago.
Okay, you weren't wearing that fluorescent vest and directing traffic or anything.
No.
Okay. So, tell me about the number of. I hate to use the word rigs, but that's what RVers use all the time. How many people?
That's a good word.
I know we're starting in Florida. We're starting on the East Coast and ending just 20 miles from California, out in Quartzite. How many people are starting in Florida? And then I guess we're picking up people along the way. Is that pretty much it?
Yeah, I think we've got about 14 people that'll start in Florida, just outside Tallahassee. And by the time we get to just outside Quartzite, to Pima County Fairgrounds, we'll have 29 coaches and 47 people.
Well,
there's always a disconnect between how many people say they can come and how many people are actually managed to come. But that's the group.
Yep, that's the thing. So safety in numbers is really the thing, because tell us a little bit about the history of how this caravan started, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Well, it started last year. It was prompted by the fact that I ran into some health problems going out to GNR the preceding year. I was aware of the fact that there are a number of single women that travel all around the country, highly capable, really smart, really independent women. But, I've been in situations where I was always far more comfortable with having somebody else near me. As tough as I like to think I am, there's always safety in numbers. So between what had happened to me and providing it was a dual thing. So I thought it was a good idea. We wound up with about 13 people arriving in Quartzite, and
Wow.
I don't like to travel without having fun. So I'm a fun guy. So we had a great time. And I posted on social media the trip across, and apparently a lot of people paid very close attention. And they had a big case of FOMO. So when this started this year, this is
Fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out, yes.
Yeah.
So when this started this year, it's not really organized. It's under my aegis, and I've taken some responsibility for it. And I'm not about to say, no, you can't come, because you really can't say that when everybody kind of goes on the same route in a pack. So it just grew like Topsy, and I've got some concerns because there's a number of different places we're staying at. It's not quite so compact. It's beyond those numbers where on a rally it's intimate. But I think with the right communication, it'll work.
We'll give it a try. We're really looking forward to it. And, as we tape this, it's a week from tomorrow that we leave.
Yes. To
head to Florida. And then the key to this whole thing, and we just got 30 seconds left, is that this is a crawl. This is not a mad dash.
No.
So we're not trying to do 500 miles a day and sleep for a couple hours and drive after midnight before the sunrise.
I'm a food guy, and I'm an attraction guy.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to do is to communicate as easily as to everyone on the crawl. We've got a website where we'll have the individual days. So there's plenty of information. There should be very little doubt. There should be plenty of opportunities for people to see sites if you're interested in sites, or some of the best donut shops, fish shops, barbecue shops, Cajun places of attraction, old-time bars along the way for 2,000 miles.
Well, we are looking forward to it. We only have a short time to discuss it here, but we want to thank you so much for taking the lead on this. And what is it, viewnavionmotorhomes.com?
Yeah, if anybody's interested to see what we're setting up, it's not complete. I'm still working on it, but it's viewnavionmotorhomes.com. I list all the rallies that are participating with the group on that site. And if you go coast to crawl, eventually you'll see all the places we're going, little road maps, attractions, food, good stuff.
Okay. And now back to our show. Thank you, Bob Kelley.
You're welcome. Have a great Christmas.
Hey, thanks, Bob. One of the key elements to this.
Sorry, hit that button
twice.
Audrey enjoyed that.
Yeah. Well, and Steve Hogan asked a couple of questions. We're not really advertising. That's the amazing thing, Steve. That's a great question. We're not really advertising it because it's only week and a half away. It kind of grew organically where Bob Kelley had posted something on the ViewNavionMotorhomes.com. View, V-I-E-W, Navion, N-A-V-I-O-N, motorhomes.com website. And underneath that, you'll see rallies, and then you click on Gulf Coast Crawl, and people just signed up. So we'll start with, I think, 13 or 14 in Tallahassee, end up with 33 or 34. And then when we get there, there'll be 250 more units that we're going to, that are coming from the West Coast, or Texas or whatever, that are getting there on their own. And the other question, Steve, and by the way, folks, if you got any questions on any of this, just feel free to type it right in. Our whole deal is 3 o'clock or 300 miles. And our longest trek is 286 miles. We will be traveling at 63 miles an hour on cruise control, staying 2 feet from the unit in front of us. No, only kidding. No, we will be at 63 miles an hour. Kelley figured out the logistics of this whole deal.
Did you verify it?
I have not. I'm going to try it, but
you're just along for the ride.
Yeah, Walter can figure it out. Walter can figure out the coefficient of drag on that. Now, it's ironic that our next guest tonight is Walter Swenson to talk about the RV Trip Wizard, because we're using the RV Trip Wizard as our barometer that tells us all the places to go. And one of the things that Bob Kelley said is that we've got a starting point and an ending point for each day. But if you want to divert and get off the interstate and visit some of the small towns, the thing that the RV Life Trip Wizard allows you to do is to know what those attractions are prior to leaving the campsite for the day. So, yes, Audrey, in this particular case, all of the rigs are Views or Navions. They are Winnebago products, thus Winnebago being one of the sponsors of that. But you know what? Based upon the way this grew from 7 units last year to 30 this year, I'm thinking that maybe we can get a group together from the Northeast that wants to get out of town right after Christmas, get down to the South, and trek across in a caravan. And I think everyone will agree that one of the key benefits of the caravan is if there's an issue where you have health issues or the health of your RV is an issue, you're with several other people that are there to help you.
That's a good idea, John. We could make a NERVDA caravan head south from here.
Yep.
Between all of our fans out there, I'll bet you could get 10 or 15 of them that might want to take such a trip.
Yep.
In fact, if you think it's a good idea, folks, just drop a line in the comments, or if you think John is crazy, then you can do that too.
Well, they're going to do that no matter what, even if the program is good.
Elevate Mr. Swenson to the stage.
Yeah, let's bring Walter in. Walter.
Evening, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Walter,
you're an RV Life Trip Wizard veteran. And I know that you even know how to share screens, which I don't. And I'm just going to turn it over to Walter. And Walter, you just let us know. And folks, let me tell you this. When Walter has done his presentation, and by the way, this is not a sales pitch by any means. Walter is a user of the program. And if anybody wants to take advantage of the program, we've got that coupon where you can save 25%. So with that being said, Mr. Zagami, you have a slide for Mr. Swenson, don't you? Let's give Walter his billboard first.
I already had it up there.
He just had it up. Yep.
There we go.
That's the fourth time.
Fourth time. Yep.
Take it away, Walter.
Yeah. So let's start with some basics first. You know what Trip Wizard is and is not. Trip Wizard is a browser-based planning tool. It is not a GPS that you're going to put in your car and follow your trip. They have the RV Life app, which does contain a GPS, but RV Life includes campground reviews, forums, magazine articles, and things like that, as well as Trip Wizard and that type of thing. So you can export your maps into, let's see, am I sharing my screen? Oh, there we are. There we are. So this is the web browser when you go into Trip Wizard, and you can see the green line outline. That's actually what they call their smart circle. It actually outlines based on what I've put in, which is an 8-hour drive from my house. So it's outlined using roads and speed limits and saying those are the areas that I could drive in 8 hours.
It's a lot of driving. That's a lot of territory.
I suppose if I was driving the car versus the RV, it might be different, but that's kind of what they use as general thumb.
They would have the whole coast, whole country there.
Yeah, exactly. So you can start planning your trip by creating a trip, and you put in a starting point. So I, typically will put in my home.
Walter, I'm going to try something. I'm going to try to blow that up, but I might lose your voice. I'll bring you right back if I don't.
Yeah, cover us, Bob.
Is that working?
Yes, you are.
Yep. There's your audio.
Okay. So you can add the custom spot, which in this case is my house, to the trip, and it'll show up over here. I've already added a bunch of places just to kind of give you an idea of what's in a trip. The other thing, adding stops can be a little tricky for some people. What you want to do is expand out your research tab, and you can add parks. You can add different points of interest, different types, rest areas, fuel stops, different retail establishments. You can also add low clearances. Keep in mind, for low clearances, any GPS program is only going to know what's in the GIS data. If there's a low clearance and they haven't registered it properly, Google, Garmin, nobody's going to know about it, including TripWizard. So the parks is, turn that on. And so we can zoom out and we can search. So there's a park right there. It's an overnight stop at the Auburn Webster Elks Club. And there's Sutton Falls Campground in Sutton, Mass. Yes. And you can add those into your trip, and it will add the cost information based on what it believes it knows. And I have found this to be fairly accurate. I will tell you that the Loves RV stops are now in here as points of interest under when you add fuel and turn on the Loves travel stops, which you won't find any in New England, but you can zoom out and start to see. So here you can start to see some of the low overpass, low clearance bridges and things like that. So searching for points of interest can be challenging at times. If you know that there's a place you want to go and it's not showing up, and I know exactly what this building is, but TripWizard doesn't know what is physically located here. So I can create a custom stop, and I can say, this happens to be Blackstone Valley Tech High School. I'm going to stay there for one night, and I can turn on different things. I can insert it into different places in my trip, and then I can save it as a custom stop so that it'll show up in the future when I want to add that stop. So if you're going somewhere on a regular basis, maybe you've got your own private land somewhere out in the country or something, you can add that as a custom stop. And of course, TripWizard isn't going to know about that. And so that does give you that ability. So you've got a right mouse click to bring up there. You can check.
Walter,
yep.
If you added that as a custom stop on this trip, does the program remember? So the next time you log in to do a trip, you could actually call that up again?
Yep.
Wow.
So let's see if I zoom out a little bit. So this big purple dot in the middle of the screen is my house. It's not part of this trip. I added that as a custom stop probably 10 or 20 trips ago. And it remembers that that's a custom stop for me. You can check fuel prices. It brings up another web screen on one of the commercial fuel price boards. So you can check out that. You can jump to Google Street View, and it will jump over to Google Maps. And if there's a Street View available where you're searching, it'll give you that. So I'm going to show the entire trip here. And so I'm going from North Carolina down to Indiantown, Florida. I'm towing an RV. Maybe I'm towing a fifth wheel. Maybe I'm driving a motorhome. I want to see how high the elevation is, but I also want to see what the gradient is like, because you're towing a big fifth wheel. You want to know how steep those grades are coming down the highway, going up the highway. And so this view at the bottom will show you all of the elevation and the gradient as well. And you can hide those. Audrey is asking, can I load it on my laptop? So TripWizard is a web-based app, so you don't have to load anything. It's any tablet or laptop that has a web browser can view this. but you do have to have an internet connection because it's online. The RV Life app, which has the GPS, can be downloaded to any mobile device, cell phone, most tablets. And if I remember correctly, it's RV Life Pro. You can use these tools to some extent without signing up for a membership. And the membership does add quite a bit of functionality to it. And I believe it's either $19.99 a month or $65 for the year. And like John mentioned, they have some coupon codes that will help get you a discount on that. So once you've plotted your trip, you can go to your trip tools. You can print your trip details. I won't do that because it'll go off the screen. I don't know if anybody's ever had those AAA maps, the strip maps. It's a little bit like that. It's not quite the same, but it's close.
Hey, hey, Walter, we lived and died with them before we had computers.
Exactly. Yep.
Triptychs.
And ironically, Microsoft Streets and Trips and Streets actually used to put out those same triptychs. But you can export the trip. So you can export it to Excel. I actually use that frequently. I have an Excel macro that reformats the output into the way I want it. You can export it into GPX, which is the GPS format for loading into Google Maps or Garmin or any of those. You can also export this into your Google Calendar. So as long as you've set your trip dates, right? So you go here and routing and driving. Where am I? Sorry. Once you set your dates in here, your start dates and everything, and you have your nights at your different campgrounds and whatnot, it will actually load these all into your Google Calendar from there. So you can load that as well. You can share this trip with friends. If they have RV Trip Wizard, they can load it into their version. If they don't, they can load the GPX into their GPS software. And you can also email an itinerary. I got to tell you, it's one of the best itineraries and formatting that I've seen in a long time for any of these types of programs. So the email contains all your stops. If you've loaded your costs properly, it'll tell you exactly how much the trip is going to cost you. For fuel, it'll give you some average pricing based on where you're stopping. And then, of course, you can see your turn-by-turn information right on the screen also.
Confirm what Jerry says there?
Yeah, so as Jerry pointed out, when you have a campground, you click on the campground. Oops, let's get it a little closer. You can view the park details, which will allow you to go directly to the website. It will also take you directly to the reviews if there are any reviews for that campground, which is integrated with the app as well. And you can then, of course, obviously add it to your trip if it's not already. You can then upload as part of the review process, add photos, add a review. You can tag it as a favorite. Maybe it's a campground that you go to all the time. And it's got some other general information and pictures that other people have shared along the way as well.
How about construction, Walter?
It does not take into account construction, although you will find occasionally, and I can't figure out why it's not zooming in. Yeah, it's not showing. If there's a road closure and it's registered for more than a couple of days, I have seen it show up. But because it's a trip planning application, not a GPS, it won't always have the current information. Now, a couple of points. There is a new map format. I'm showing the default map. They have a new beta format, and they have a new routing engine. And those two new things will enable them to bring on new features into the map. So, example, you can now, again, although it's beta, you can go into the map settings, and you can show weather layers. You can turn on the radar, wind speeds, and wildfires, which is important if you're out in the Midwest. And it will show up on your map when you're planning everything. Dante says he uses Waze. Yeah, so Waze is a lot like Google Maps. Matter of fact, Waze is owned by Google. At some point, I expect they'll merge the two platforms completely, and one of them will go away.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, great application. Considering, you know, the cost of your RV and the cost of these trips, $65 for the year for a pretty good planning tool. Certainly by far the best that I've used recently.
It's pretty comprehensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's amazing.
So
it's amazing. Walter, I'm sure you'd agree that we're only scratching the scratch on the surface.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
you know, if you have questions, certainly reach out to me. But they have
tons of tutorials.
Yeah. So under help, they have tons of videos. They also have what's new, and they have a feature tour that will allow you to walk through various aspects of the interface just using their capabilities and their information. So now you can see, I've told them I'm down at this campground, and so this green line has moved and is now outlining 8 hours from that location on where I could travel in that part of the country.
I think it's also important to point out that the RV Life Trip Wizard is owned and managed by RVers. In fact,
Correct,
Bob,
yeah.
doesn't Andy own the vintage Airstream?
Andy owns a vintage Airstream, and Patrick has a diesel pusher.
Right. And all the other people that promote the product are all RVers. So this is not some venture capitalist that came in and said, you know what, we have a lot of technology. Let's figure out a way that we can make money off the RVers. These people are RVers. And as Walter just said moments ago, $65 per year. Well, there's a 7-day free trial, but there's also that coupon. So when you bring in the 25% off, it comes out to $48.
Yeah. And Don has a good point here. And I know people that do this. They don't have an RV, but because there's so much information in routing, they just use it for their automobile trip.
Yep. So we have trips that we use both for the RV and for the car. Like here we have from our Mass to Florida house 1 day by car. So we do that trip a little differently than we would if we were taking our time and stopping along the way and things like that.
You take an airplane.
Yeah, Walter can beat JetBlue. Walter can fly faster than JetBlue.
Oh, I can't beat JetBlue, but between the time you spend in the airports and the time you're flying, we can get close, but not quite close.
That's pretty damn close, right?
And before Audrey Foley Egan leaves, Audrey, tell me, you told us when you were our guest a couple weeks ago that gas card that you and Bob invested in. You just type it in over there because I want to look into that myself.
TSD.
TSD.
Yep, for diesel fuel.
Okay.
And there's a couple of them out there. So, and it's best if you have, because most of them don't charge to be members, but you have to give them your credit card or checking account information. But there are a couple of diesel programs, and as Jerry Plant had pointed out, I've programmed in here based on our truck and our trailer. It shows me where I need to stop for fuel. Now, what I programmed it for was 11 miles to the gallon. I have a 35-gallon tank, and I don't want to go below a quarter of a tank. Yeah. And so it'll give you fuel rewarnings, and so you can start when you're doing your planning where you want to look around for fuel stops.
Amazing. We used the RV Trip Wizard 2 years ago. We did the Do It Now tour, and we'll be using it on the way back this time because we come by ourselves on the way back. However, what we'll be doing, because on this trip we're not programmed 24/7, we've got the capability to check out attractions from campground A to campground B and divert from the group that way as well. So that's another
It's a
benefit from it.
great tip from Audrey if you don't want to disclose a lot of your other personal information or have stuff out there.
Yeah. And it's worth to set up a
Set up
separate bank
account
account.
and just use that and tie it back into the card.
I do the same. I do the same thing because you don't want that type of a card having access to your checking account
Right.
that you're living out of.
Well, this was fantastic, Walter. Any closing statements for our fans? And we certainly
Just-
appreciate you.
Yeah, no problems. Anytime. Like I said, people have questions or they need hands-on tutorials like John did. We can arrange a phone call or whatever. Plenty of YouTube videos out there. I have not made any, but there are plenty of people out there making them. So no need for me to make them.
Well,
But,
Walter,
Great tool.
I'm going to ask you to put your engineer and real world job expertise on the line. Explain to folks, and I'm guilty of it too. We buy these software programs. We only use 10% of them.
Yep.
You have an issue and you complain. Explain the importance of the tutorials and being personally responsible for what you purchased if you really want to enjoy it.
Yeah, so companies don't mind supporting their customers. They really don't. However, it does get frustrating when the 14th customer has called and said, hey, I can't find that elevation thing, which, by the way, is right here on the screen. Or I can't find how to change the map settings. Or I don't like the way it routed me through Massachusetts or Connecticut or whatever. There's, it's not that the questions are bad, but they're probably answered in these help videos. Again, RV Life has done some really nice brief videos. So I want to know how to add a point of interest. There's a video just for that. And so you're not having to listen to an hour-long training video. You're listening to a snippet that teaches you the thing that you want to do. If the companies can focus their software engineers on developing the product and not answering every simple question that they've provided help for, they can stay focused on enhancing it and bringing more features and capabilities to the program.
Great point, Walter. All right, you want to close that section out, John?
Yep. Walter, you know what? Again, another example of our audience. This is 2 out of 3 weeks we've had audience members lead the show, and we thank you. We don't take
Absolutely.
your participation for granted. And Bob has got a gift certificate for $30,000. You can go on to any NERVDA dealership, pick out any unit you want, and Bob's picking up the first 30 grand.
Yeah, we're just the nicest guys in town, Pedro. All right, Walter, thank you very much.
Walter, show us your chair. Show us the super chair.
Secret Lab.
Unbelievable.
It's a gaming chair. Reason I use it is, like gamers, I do a lot of Zoom meetings and stuff. So I'm in my chair between standing and sitting, but I'm in my chair for 10, 12 hours a day. And although it's an expensive chair, there's no question about it. You're going to spend $600-700, but I can sit in this chair in 12 hours and not get up and be aching and having to climb the stairs crawling.
Walter,
I can, get up.
I'm just suggesting to you that don't sit in a chair for 12 hours without getting up, because it wouldn't be good.
Oh no, I've had DBT. So I have a sit-stand desk, and I stand up once an hour for 20 minutes.
I have a sit-stand desk that Walter helped me buy, but I'll be very honest with you, it's been mostly on the sit mode for quite a while. But again, right. Walter, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thanks, Walter.
We'll be happy to answer any questions on that.
Let me get a quick commercial in here, because we're probably running a little bit later than we thought.
Yes.
But real quick, Seacoast RV is our sponsor, and they are providing at this year's Boston RV and Camping Expo. You have an opportunity to win a Winnebago Hike 100 travel trailer valued at $30,000. So come into the show, register for the Winnebago, have a great time at the show. And we thank Seacoast RV for their sponsorship of RVing in New England.
There we go.
All right, turn the mic back over to you. Where do you want to go from here?
The other thing we want to do is, again, let's look over at some of our questions from our audience here. And Sandy Ellingson says, hello from Mark, Sandy, Julie, and Mark. They're celebrating Christmas together. I don't know where they are. Must be somewhere out in Arizona or somewhere out there, right?
Probably Colorado.
Sandy, tell us where you're at right now. Sandy will be happy because our next guest, if we have them lined up that way, is one of our partners on this trip called Spot Tonight, and Terry Broussard is going to tell us a little bit about Spot Tonight. And now here's it. And when they're done, I want to tell you another thing about working with a sponsor that you can speak with the president. So if you run that tape, Bob, thanks, Bob Zagami, and hello, everyone. And, you know, as we've been talking for the last couple of weeks, our big crawl to Quartzite is coming up. In fact, within a couple of weeks, coming up. And one of the partners of this program is Spot Tonight. And joining us to tell us a little bit more about Spot Tonight is the CEO and co-founder, Terry Broussard. I get your title right, Terry?
You got it, CEO and co-founder, and all-time senior bottle washer sometimes.
Yep, cook and bottle washer. So basically, you know, for those folks that, I mean, the company is just a few years old, 3-4 years old. Tell us what Spot Tonight is and why people should be interested in it, especially in this day when people say campgrounds are filled 6 months in advance and you're never going to find a spot. You don't believe that theory?
And absolutely not. I can tell you that as campers and 4-time RV owners and travelers, when Sam and I came up with this idea, it was to put it here on the phone. We wanted to be able to find a way to pick the phone up and find a campground without having to wait for people to call us back or anything like that. So in a nutshell, for those that want to know, you know, really, we directly connect you right to the reservation engines of all of these integrated campgrounds. There's no calling back. When you see a price, you can fill your profile out and book it. So I like to say, look, book, and go with Spot Tonight.
Look, book, and go.
That's right.
That's cool. And, you know, I think it's important to point out that you are an RVer yourself. So you're not just somebody who's looking at the RV industry as a money-making opportunity. You've lived it. And I think that's important for our audience to understand.
Yeah, you know, obviously it takes a lot of planning to have a successful camping trip. And that's one of the things that I think that I learned and valued the most, being an Air Force retired guy, veteran, that we plan every mission, infinite degree, to have a successful war-winning campaign. And so I carry that into camping. So my rig was always kept ready to roll. However, the sharp pole there was finding a campground. And so whether, you know, my friends or my family or whatever would say, hey, let's go somewhere tonight or let's go this weekend, I said, well, okay, it generally doesn't work that way because we've got to plan a little bit more and the good parks are all gone. And so that's when we really took the time to study all the reservation systems and how this worked and how we turned it into a family business.
Right. And I am in no way qualified to figure out the technology behind it. But the fact that you told me two things: you're a veteran, we respect that, and that you're an RVer, we respect that as well. We want to let people know to continue to support Spot Tonight as they continue to support us during this project. Terry Broussard, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Safe travels.
Thanks, Bob Zagami, and hello, everyone. And, you know, as we've been talking for the last couple of weeks, our big crawl to Quartz.
Too quick on the trigger. I don't know there.
That's all right. So what we found out in our discussion after we did the interview, I was asking Terry because he's in Louisiana, in Mandeville, Louisiana, and I said, "Well, I think we're going to be down that way because we're going to Nolens, and we're going in a group. We're not taking. By the way, folks, we are not taking our RVs into Nolens. Okay, we're staying 10 miles away." And he said, "Where are you staying?" And I told him the name of the campground, you know, the state park, and he said, that's 5 minutes from my house. Do you mind if I stop by and say hello to your people and I'll bring coffee and donuts? And I said, Terry, I'm not running the show, but I'm going to call Bob Kelley and see what he said. So on January 6th, before we head into the city, Terry is going to meet us. And he said, I might even be able to get those vignettes, which I think are some kind of Nolan specialty, right? You guys tell us what a vignette is.
Yeah, it's like a little powdered donut. It's got a lot, and if he gets them at Cafe Du Monde,
that's what he said. He said there's a Cafe Du Monde,
yeah,
right?
You have to get them there, but they got a ton of. You got to wear an apron or a bib. It's like wearing a bib with lobsters in Maine. They have so much powdered sugar on them that when you get done, you look like you've been in a snowstorm.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Terry sent yesterday on his own. He sent a list of about 15 restaurants that are near the campground. He sent a list of attractions of what to do, because some people, have been to New Orleans before and they don't want to go back for whatever reason. But I'm just amazed at his generosity and something that he doesn't have to do. And so on I think it's Saturday, January 6th, he's going to meet us at the campground. And I said, you know what, get to talk to these people, because the best marketing that you can do is when you get to talk face to face in person to your audience, right? And Spot Tonight audience members, prospective buyers are RVers. So I think that's going to be pretty cool.
A wealth of information, but he's just a very personable guy. Yep. And he wrote a lot of the software, and he loves that customer feedback.
Yep. And like Mr. Zagami, he's an Air Force veteran.
Right.
So, Benye. Okay. So what do we got? We got a 3-minute video. We want to play that video.
We can.
Or you want to hold it to next week?
What do we got?
We got 3 minutes.
We can squeeze it in, because it's all relative to what you're doing here tonight.
Right. The other company that we're working with, we get to, again, deal directly with the owner, Allie Rasmussen, and they started out as campers 5 years ago, and now they own 15 campgrounds from Maine to Georgia.
Here we go.
We got to talk with Audrey Kennedy. Thanks, Bob, and hello, everyone. And, for the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about Spacious Skies Campground, because they are one of our partners in this big trip, this crawl to Quartzite, Arizona from Florida. But of course, we're starting in New England because that's our home base. And you know what? Anywhere in New England, our friend Amanda Kennedy from Spacious Skies can probably host us, right, Amanda? Because you've got a lot of properties up in the Northeast.
That's right. Our collection of 15 campgrounds stretches from Maine all the way down to Savannah, Georgia, where I'm sitting today.
And Savannah, Georgia is a very special place because, number one, we're probably going to be stopping there sometime next week. And I'm told that you can guarantee 75-degree weather in the daytime and 50-degree weather at night. Is that true?
Well, don't hold me to that, but next week we've got a better chance of it than this week for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's what the Weather Channel says, but, nevertheless, one of the things that has been a big topic of controversy in the camping community is that next year is already booked out and it's no point of even making reservations. That's not the case with you guys, right?
Oh boy, no. We did begin booking for 2024 during the camping season of 2023. However, you can still get your site today at any of our campgrounds. And of course, you can also plan to join our Cosmic Camper loyalty program if you plan to camp at more than one campground or more than one time at a campground.
Now, what does that mean?
What that means is you join the Cosmic Camper loyalty program for the annual price of $31.90. And that allows you 12% off of all of your camping with us. And there's no limit on that. And to sweeten that deal, we also like to throw out extra deals and promos to our Cosmic Campers, as well as present special gear for the loyalty Cosmic Campers.
Cosmic Campers. Now, here's the thing that my grandkids love. Showing up at a campground, not knowing what time of year it is, because it's sometime between April and July, April and October. and finding out that there's a themed weekend. How big are you guys into themed weekends?
We love our themed weekends. We know the campers every year ask for more themed weekends, more activities. And so every year we step up our game to try and reach those aspirations. And we coordinate those themes throughout the entire collection of 15 campgrounds. So if you stay over, let's say you stay at Spacious Skies French Pond this weekend, and next weekend you want to head over to Spacious Skies Minuteman in Littleton, you won't have a repeat of the same theme weekends. You'll have new exciting activities each different weekend. And we also know that we're all connected under this spacious sky. And so the activities that you're doing up in Maine with your campers are the same activities that we're doing down here in Savannah, Georgia at the same time.
So it's really feasible if you join the Cosmic Camper Club. I mean, that investment will pay itself back in a very short period of time. But the beauty of it is that you can go, right down the I-95 corridor and even a little bit to the west and never be far from a Spacious Sky campground.
That's right. We have in the spring, we do a Follow the Flowers tour up the coast so that you can follow. I've done it myself. That's where we started. I followed the azaleas all the way from North Carolina up to New Hampshire back in 2022. And that's where we kind of started that. And then also in the fall, you can follow those fall leaves back down the coast. And so we like to stay connected throughout the collection together and provide those itineraries so that you can always have an exciting adventure to go on.
Cool. So if we go to, I want to make sure I get this right, Spacious Skies, plural, SKIES, campgrounds, plural.com, it will tell you everything that we need to know.
That's right. It'll set you up with a full itinerary for camping all the way up and down the coast and even over into Tennessee. And you can plan it all right there from the same website. You can also hit us up with our camper care team. They'll be happy to get you a great itinerary with things to do at each of our locations.
Oh, great. Great. Like your own personal travel agent.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Exactly. Amanda Kennedy, we want to thank you so much. And please give our best to all the people back at headquarters at Spacious Skies. And we want to thank you for joining us on the Quartzite crawl for 2024. Thanks, Amanda.
Thanks for having me. We look forward to seeing you around the campfire.
Thank you.
Boy, I'll tell you, what a pack. That may be the tightest hour we've ever done. But thank you for putting all those videos together, John. That was
There's one more thing, Bob. There's one more thing. Spacious Skies on their own, they said, look, let's give our New England viewers, our viewers of your show, a discount for any campground for next year. And all they have to do is go to Spacious Skies.
Are you reading this?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Start over again. I thought I was looking for.
We want to give our viewers tonight, if they go to, what do you call it?
SpaciousSkies.com.
SpaciousSkiesCampgrounds.com. Make a reservation. Type in the code RVLife15 and get 15% discount. Now, there may be some certain holidays that it won't apply, but for the vast majority of the people, it will. So now here's another thing. Look, Amanda was with us. Good thing we ran that tonight. Good thing we ran that tonight. And Allie was with us. Got a shout out to my dear Amanda for repping Spacious Skies. And you know what? They're the nicest people. That's the coolest part about RVing.
John, we only do business with nice people. That's justified by our fans. We have nice people here. Yep. That's what it's all about.
Yep. And tomorrow morning, I'm going up to Campers Inn to do an interview with them that we'll see next week. Campers Inn is one of our sponsors. Winnebago is one of our sponsors. RV Life, RV Business, Woodall's Campground Magazine, Go RVing, etc. So, Jerry liked Minuteman. I've been up to Minuteman. But let's say Merry Christmas to everyone. Don't forget that RV Life 15, or what's the other one? RV Show 25. Discounts, folks.
Yep, RV Show 25 for the discount on RV Life Pro Trip Wizard.
Okay, we're running a little bit over, but I want to tell you that during the 35 years that I worked with Kenny Rogers, when he was doing the Christmas show, he'd always say, what's all this talk about happy holidays and season's greetings? I don't care about that. I just want to say to y'all, Merry Christmas. And Bob, I'm sure that you want to as well.
Absolutely. We treasure every one of you and appreciate you coming back every Wednesday night. And thank you to our sponsor, Seacoast RVs, creating family fun on Route 1.
And
right.
we will see you live next week.
Don't forget, we go into the Boston show between 8 and 10. We got RVing in New England Live for 2 hours this year. We did it 1 hour last year, but we're going 2 hours this year. Show was at 10. We'll be tap dancing in the lobby from 8 to 10.
Yeah. And Don Pathaw says, I was interviewed by our friend Greg Gerber on Work Camper News. So if you want to see a podcast.
I posted that on our Facebook page.
Work
and
Camper
folks,
News.
if you have not had a chance to watch John's interview, it's extremely insightful. He does a great job with Greg Gerber. Take some time and get to know John a little bit better through his interview. But thanks for reminding us there, Don. Greg Gerber, of course, a good longtime friend of ours and former RV News Daily Report editor and writer, and one of the best, I always say, the best investigative journalist that this industry has ever had, maybe that any industry has ever had. Yeah. All right, we're going to let you get
Merry
back
Christmas,
to
everyone.
Whatever you're doing. Enjoy Merry Christmas and enjoy the holidays.
Have a great night.
This edition of RVing in New England was a presentation of the New England RV Dealers Association. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.